It's called wide. And so it's Alexandra Eala who is through. She did some incredible things here last year with the semifinal run, and she'd like to go even further.
The love affair with Miami continues for Alexandra.
The world watched in breathless anticipation as the grandstand became the ultimate stage for a masterclass in tactical warfare, raw agility, and an unbreakable spirit. This round of 32 encounter proved to be an unforgettable spectacle, forever burning its dramatic narrative into the minds of every spectator present. The ultimate showdown pitted Alexandra, the skyrocketing prodigy from the Philippines, against Magda Linette, Poland's fiercely resilient, battle-hardened warrior.
Congratulations, you are headed back to the 4th round here in Miami, and to do it, you had to get through a fighter today in Magda Linette. You know how tough she can be. Other than this incredible crowd, what do you think got you over the finish line?
Oh, I think patience was a very key aspect of how I played today. You said it first, Magda is such a fighter, and every time I played against her, she's put me in such difficult positions. So kudos to her for playing well, and yeah, I really enjoyed the battle.
Crackling energy surged through the sunlit stadium. Heavy, suffocating suspense held the roaring audience captive the moment these two phenomenal gladiators stepped onto the hard court. On one end stood the 31st seed, Alexandra, shouldering the fierce devotion of a nation alongside the unstoppable force of a breakout year. Directly opposing her stood Magda, a formidable adversary feared for her unbreakable defensive strikes and lethal strategic mind.
It is so much fun to watch you play. You are so seemingly fearless. You take the ball so early, you redirect so well. Has that always been your style of game, or has there been a coach along the way that said, this is how you're going to play?
I want to think that being aggressive has always kind of been what I've aimed to do. Maybe it's only come out well like in the past year or so, but no, I think it's really part of my game. Of course, I have an amazing team who have really fine-tuned my game and really helped me take it to the next level now. But yeah, I think being aggressive is something that I like to do. Yeah.
An explosive collision of fearless youth and cunning mastery guaranteed absolute warfare from the very first strike, with lethal concentration emanating from both warriors during the opening drills. Survival hung by a thread in this brutal round of 32 collision, where a golden ticket to the tournament's elite stages awaited the sole victor. Possessing a chilling composure far beyond her teenage years, the young phenom approached the painted strike zone with lethal intention.
Last year at this time, you were ranked 140 in the world, and coming into the Miami Open this year, you're 29 in the world. What would you say is the biggest difference in you standing here today as both a person and a player?
I think I've matured a lot in the past year. I've been put in a lot of high pressure moments, a lot of big stages, which I am so grateful for and wouldn't trade for the world. But you know, being back in the 4th round, it makes me feel the same as I did last year. I'm so happy, I'm so excited, and you know, it's such a privilege to be back in Miami.
Linette, the ultimate touring specialist, locked in with a fierce gaze, ready to weaponize a decade of grueling tour survival to shatter the youngsters' momentum. Peeling back the layers of the concluding numbers uncovers the true, gripping narrative of this brutal encounter. The prodigy ultimately survived in straight sets, yet the deceptive 6-3, 7-6 numbers completely mask the agonizing trench warfare that actually unfolded. She snatched the opening chapter with a commanding 6-3 conquest, drawing first blood and establishing absolute dominance. The subsequent frame, however, descended into a brutal, lung-burning marathon of endurance, draining their souls before the youngster finally conquered the decisive tiebreaker. Analyzing the service numbers exposes the hidden mechanics that controlled the chaotic rhythm of this contest. Surprisingly, massive artillery and lightning-fast kills remained entirely absent, as each combatant managed to fire exactly one unreturnable rocket during the entire war. Editors.
40-15.
Those two lonely aces highlight a bloody conflict contested almost entirely within the grinding, agonizing exhaustion of deep baseline exchanges, where survival depended completely on surgical precision, vicious ball rotation, and ironclad endurance instead of raw, blinding service velocity. Their service errors also mirrored each other flawlessly. Across the entire grueling duel, both warriors blinked only twice, surrendering exactly 2 service blunders each. That shockingly rare error rate exposes the terrifying, laser-focused discipline these women weaponized during moments of suffocating pressure. Neither champion surrendered an inch of free territory, demanding absolute perfection for every single earned advantage. This flawless execution cemented the grandstand status as a theater of absolute greatness, while the razor-thin service margins showcased just how fiercely contested this rivalry truly was. The rising star successfully buried 64% of her opening deliveries deep into the target zone, a formidable weapon that handed her total control from the first strike. The Polish veteran stalked her every move, launching 61% of her primary rockets directly into the combat zone. The two gladiators stood practically shoulder to shoulder as they zeroed in on their lethal primary targets. Yet, the true carnage inflicted by those opening strikes finally unmasks the microscopic advantages that determined a champion. Listen closely to the roar once again. Alexa seamlessly aided the broadcast, presenting those critical signs delivered today, through the official lightning-fast courier and retrieval network powering the Miami Open. Meanwhile, the teenage sensation from the Philippines continued leaving the demanding Miami crowds absolutely spellbound. As Nico observed, witnessing her profound gratitude firsthand revealed exactly why she captured millions of hearts worldwide. Her magnetic aura completely transcended the sport. Possessing ancient wisdom inside a fierce competitor, she left ravenous fans desperately begging for more. The conqueror secured a devastating 71% victory rate whenever her initial strike found its mark. The veteran mirrored that fury almost perfectly, executing kills on 70% of her own primary hits. The moment their main artillery engaged, they ruthlessly terminated the opposition, displaying savage predatory instincts and flawless tactical geography. Yet, the ultimate masterstroke of this war, the glaring metric that crowned the young champion, emerged from the ashes of her secondary attacks. That secondary battlefield became the precise location where destinies were shattered and legends were born. In an act of pure defiance, Alexandra seized a mind-bending 86% of survival points on her vulnerable second strike. To frame this properly, passing 60% is considered phenomenal. Eala's 86% success rate showcased breathtaking mastery over vicious spin, pinpoint targeting, and impenetrable defensive sequences. Conversely, Magda Linette desperately struggled to shield her second delivery from the punishing, aggressive returns unleashed by the Filipina phenom. The Polish veteran salvaged merely 58% of her second serve points. That staggering 28% gap in second serve execution handed the prodigy an overwhelming tactical edge. This meant that even when her primary weapon misfired, she remained the heavy favorite to claim the point, unleashing unyielding, suffocating agony upon her rival's returning rhythm. Such intense pressure organically spawned golden breakpoint openings. Across the entire battlefield, the teenager carved out 5 breakpoint opportunities against the veteran's delivery, ruthlessly executing 2. Snatching those 2 specific service games proved utterly vital, forging the precise distance required to capture the opening act, while sustaining heavy fire into the second. The young athlete displayed supernatural composure during these massive moments, orchestrating her tactical vision flawlessly right as the atmospheric tension reached a boiling point. Refusing to surrender, Magda Linette fought fiercely and clawed her way to a pair of breakpoint chances against the teenager. She violently seized one lifeline, proving she lurked dangerously close and stood ready to punish any fleeting shadow of doubt in her rival's mind. That single breakthrough for the veteran kept the second chapter agonizingly tense, dragging the battle into a nail-biting tiebreaker as both warriors viciously defended their remaining service games with every last drop of spirit they possessed. Entering that definitive tiebreaker, this moment stood as the ultimate proving ground, where true champions reveal their absolute steel. The second chapter crested into an agonizing shootout, with history recording one tiebreaker victory for the Filipina and a crushing 0 for her rival. The prodigy found another gear during the climax, completely obliterating the shootout with an uncompromising 7-2 final tally. She fiercely rejected the chaos of an unpredictable third frame, slamming the gates shut on any miraculous revival through an exhibition of absolute ice-cold, flawless tennis. An examination of the returning numbers casts blinding light on the victor's supreme authority today. The 31st seed hoarded 24 receiving points, relentlessly interrogating the veteran's delivery mechanics and outright denying the Polish star any semblance of a comforting tempo or rhythm. In stark contrast, the veteran managed to capture exactly 17 receiving points. The teenager's menacing stance during returns, combined with her gift for disarming the server's motion, served as the ultimate catalyst for conjuring those precious breaking opportunities. Examining the total points captured brings the entire narrative of this glorious war into stunningly clear focus. Alexandra Eala harvested a grand total of 71 victorious exchanges throughout the skirmish, overshadowing her opponent's final haul of 59. Such a 12-point chasm speaks ultimate volumes during a vicious straight-sets collision, painting a picture of a prodigy perpetually conquering the decisive moments, physically draining her adversary throughout the grueling, agonizing marathon rallies, defining this savage baseline warfare. The game tally perfectly mirrors this relentless stockpiling of victorious blows. The conqueror locked down 13 total games, while her resilient foe bled for 9. The victor's lethal talent for weaving together consecutive conquests proved fatal. Historical records prove her most devastating sequence featured 5 consecutive games stolen in a row. This majestic 5-game avalanche, violently bridging the explosive climax of the opening chapter to the fiery dawn of the second, manifested as a seismic energy shift, leaving the veteran hunting for survival. Meanwhile, the opponent's maximum consecutive streak peaked at exactly 3. Though stringing 3 victories together showcased a wildly impressive and entirely undeniable warrior spirit, it found itself utterly eclipsed by the teenager's agonizingly long chapters of absolute tyranny. This sport thrives on shifting tides, and the youngster proved supernaturally gifted at capturing that wind, but trapping it in her sails for ages, strangling every desperate attempt the veteran made to carve out a surviving foothold. Spectators must also stand in absolute awe of the highest sequence of consecutive points captured. Alexandra Eala forged a terrifying chain of 7 uninterrupted victorious points at the absolute zenith of her performance. Claiming 7 straight exchanges against a titan of that caliber demands murderous concentration, impeccable craftsmanship, and a stubborn refusal to hand over cheap mistakes. The veteran's best surge spanned 5 uninterrupted points, a highly commendable feat, yet it still crumbled beneath the blinding magic summoned by her youthful rival. The serving statistics merely hammer another nail into the coffin of her supremacy. She ruthlessly guarded 47 points while serving, fanatically shielding her territory through a poisonous cocktail of brutal rotations, wicked geometry, and that breathtakingly historic second strike mastery. Her adversary scraped together 42 service points, proving she possessed the grit to survive for vast expanses, yet that microscopic serving advantage forged the unbreakable bedrock for the victor's straight-sets massacre. Ultimately, the total service game secured weaves the final tale of dictatorial control. The star conquered 10 service games, projecting terrifying consistency and unbreakable mental fortitude every time she approached the baseline. The challenger claimed 8 serving rounds. Those 2 precious extra holds materialized as the unbreakable architectural pillars supporting her majestic 6-3, 7-6 crowning glory. This dominance let her wield the scoreboard as a weapon, leaving Lynette perpetually trailing behind. Conquering that roaring stadium undeniably fuels a massive surge of belief within Alexandra Eala's spirit. Entering as the 31st contender, she showcased immense poise under the glaring lights of destiny. She completely dismantled a seasoned veteran through pure strategic brilliance and fiercely accurate striking power. Securing an unprecedented 86% success rate on secondary deliveries establishes a terrifying blueprint that upcoming challengers must desperately decode. Magdala Lynette now bears the crushing weight of a bitterly disappointing conclusion. The veteran waged a heroic war, dragging the second chapter to its absolute brink while showcasing the fierce resilience, defining her enduring legacy. Ultimately, she crashed into an unstoppable force operating in a completely different realm of brilliance. The fallen warrior must now gather her strength, dissect the battlefield tactics, and seek swift redemption, fully aware that a mere handful of crucial moments could have rewritten this entire tragedy. Concluding this breathtaking round of 32 spectacle, observers remain completely spellbound by Alexandra Eala's blazing potential. The rising star delivered a brilliant symphony of calculated ferocity and unbreakable psychological fortitude. Spectators packing the arena witnessed a majestic exhibition of racket mastery, leaving the world absolutely hungry for the next chapters in both gladiators' epic journeys. Deepest appreciation for accompanying this intense exploration of the hidden statistics shaping such an unforgettable court war.